Thank you, and please be seated. Alapa, God is the most glorious. On behalf of Frank's family, friends, neighbors, we welcome you all to this special time to celebrate Frank. And we welcome our family from abroad, both here and live streaming, friends from near and far, in the region and the world, who so loved Frank. And of course, especially all his neighbors and those live streaming both here and around the world. We appreciate you being here to take part in this special time, and we welcome you now to enjoy the program. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. Aloha. This is a prayer by Abdul Baha. O God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my pores. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. Thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I will be a happy and joyful being. O God, I will no longer be full of anxiety, nor will I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. O God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself. I dedicate myself to thee, O Lord.
Simine Dolphin had a very special relationship with her Uncle Frank, as she called him. Owing to health reasons, she's unable to be here today, and so this reading is being done for her Uncle Frank. Soon will your swiftly passing days be over, and the fame and riches, the comforts, the joys provided by this rubbish heap, the world, will be gone without a trace. Summon ye then the people to God, and invite humanity to follow the example of the company on high. Be ye loving fathers to the orphan, and a refuge to the helpless, and a treasury for the poor, and a cure for the ailing. Be ye the helpers of every victim of oppression, the patrons of the disadvantaged. Think ye at all times of rendering some service to every member of the human race. Pay ye no heed to aversion and rejection, to disdain, hostility, injustice. Act ye in the opposite way. Be ye sincerely kind, not in appearance only. Let each one of God's loved ones center his attention on this: to be the Lord's mercy to man, to be the Lord's grace. Let him do some good to every person whose path he crosseth, and be of some benefit to him. Let him improve the character of each and all, and reorient the minds of men. In this way, the light of divine guidance will shine forth, and the blessings of God will cradle all mankind. For love is light, no matter in what abode it dwelleth, and hate is darkness, no matter where it may make its nest. O friends of God, that the hidden mystery may stand revealed, and the secret essence of all things may be disclosed. Strive ye to banish that darkness forever and ever. From the sacred writings of the Baha'i Faith.
Verily, we are God's, and to him shall we return. Man is born naked, and when dead, he is also naked. He brings nothing with him to this world, and when he departs, he cannot take anything physical with him to the next. But whatever he has given to the cause of God while on this earth, his time, his labors, his resources, as well as his services to his fellow human beings, these he can take with him to the spiritual realms. This is one way of transforming something which belongs to the world of matter into the spiritual worlds of God. Man is destined by God to undergo a spiritual development that extends throughout eternity. His life upon this earth is only the first stage of that development. When we outgrow our physical form and are considered by God ready to reap the fruit of our spiritual development, we proceed to the other world. We term it death only because of our short-sightedness. A more proper term would be a more abundant life. It is a forward step we have taken.
We all come from God, and unto him do we return. We all come from God, and unto him do we return, like a stream flowing down to the ocean, or a ray of light returning to the sun. We all come from God, and unto him do we return. We all come from God, and unto him do we return, like a stream flowing down to the ocean, or a ray of light returning to the sun. We all come from God, and unto him do we return. We all come from God, and unto him do we return, and unto him do we return, and unto him do we return.
Know then that life hath a twofold meaning. The first imparted to the appearance of man in an elemental body, and it is manifested in eminence unto others as the midday sun. This life cometh to an end with physical death, which is God ordained and an inescapable reality. That life, however, which is mentioned in the books of the prophets and the chosen ones of God, is the life of knowledge, that is to say, the servant's recognition of the sign of the splendors, wherewith he who is the source of all splendor hath himself invested in him, and his certitude of attaining unto the presence of God through the manifestations of his cause. This is that blessed and everlasting life that perisheth not. Whosoever is quickened thereby shall never die, but will endure as long as his Lord and Creator will endure. The first life, which pertaineth to the elemental body, will come to an end, as hath been revealed by God. Every soul shall taste of death. But the second life, which ariseth from the knowledge of God, knoweth no death, as hath been revealed aforetime. Him will we surely quicken to a blessed life. Therefore, think not that he hath perished. Indeed, he will endure in the heavenly kingdom as long as God himself endureth. And this calleth for gratitude, not grieving. When he findeth that thou art happy, he becometh more cheerful. But when he perceiveth that thou art disconsolate, this provoketh anguish in his heart. From the Baha'i Holy Writings.
O my God, verily thy servant, humble before the majesty of thy divine supremacy, lowly at the door of thy oneness, hath believed in thee and in thy verses, hath testified to thy word, hath been enkindled with the fire of thy love, hath been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by thy breezes, hath relied upon his supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. He hath abandoned this mortal life, and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning for the favor of meeting thee. O Lord, glorify his station, shelter him under the pavilion of thy supreme mercy. Cause him to enter thy glorious paradise, and perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily, thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, the bestower. Abdul Baha.
We now have reflections on Frank, and those who are going to take part in these reflections, kindly be in order so that you can take the mic. So who will be the first person here to give reflection? Okay, we'll start with some music and they'll come on up.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. See the paper laying on the sidewalk, a little music from the house next door. I walk on up to the doorstep, through the screen and across the floor. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Hello, everyone.
Summer breeze
I guess we're going to do Summer
makes me
Breeze.
feel fine, blowing.
So anyway, it's a pleasure to see everyone here and the family. It's good to connect again after all these years. I'm the youngest brother, and I was a little slow starting. So my two other brothers, Jimmy and Tommy, went to England in, I guess, 56. And Frank and I went in 58. And he was 12, I was 10. And we flew to Trinidad and boarded an ocean liner and sailed all the way to Italy. From Italy, we caught a train all the way up through France and then a ferry across the English Channel to England. Now, he was 12 and I was 10. We had very little supervision. I was completely out of it. If it wasn't for Frank, I would probably end up in the Antarctic. But we made it. And so like I said, I was slow starter, and I had 3 elder brothers who took me under wing, and they were my surrogate parents. So I became very close to my brothers. And anyway, we came, finally got back home to Trinidad and came to the States, and life was good. Frank didn't come up at that time, but he eventually did, and he went to the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and eventually graduated from the Boston Conservatory of Music. But in Trinidad, in California, we were close. We were living in the same house. And I remember one time we were sitting in the kitchen chatting, and a jet flew overhead, and Frank just froze. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, that engine is in the key of D. He charged into the den, bang on the piano. Does it sound like Frank? And he said, "Told you." It was a key of D. So anyway, someone in California told me that Frank would be present here listening to this and attending in spirit. And so, hello, Frank. I love you. Your brothers love you. Everybody here loves you. And it's really nice. Anyway, I do miss him, and I thought I wouldn't even make it up here. I thought I'd break down, start crying, but I guess we're grown up. We can handle it, kind of. So anyway, when I was here in Barbados, I think it was in '71, I stayed with Frank and Eve, and I wrote this song called Butterfly. And in the States, just before I came here, I was sitting on the deck at where I lived, and I said, "Now I've got all these songs I've written," and I said, I'd like to dedicate one to Frank. And then it came to me, Butterfly, because butterfly is an insect of transition. It starts as a caterpillar, and then it goes into a cocoon and comes out as a butterfly, beautiful winged creature flying around. I thought this would be perfect for Frank. So this is now his song. And when I was thinking all this, a butterfly flew over my head, and I said, "Oh my goodness, this is confirmation and validation," because there were no butterflies. It's out of season. Butterflies are not around in California, but this one flew over my head when I was thinking about this butterfly. So I said, "There he is, sending me a signal." Apparently Frank is very charismatic and very much loved by everybody. I can't believe the love that everyone is sharing with me about how Frank was just amazing, just a great guy, great spirit, and he loved people. Back in the day when I was with Frank here in Barbados, I forgot what town we're in, but I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was walking around with the President of the United States. Everybody, "Hey, Frank, Frank, Frank." Amazing. He was so charismatic. Everybody just loved this guy. So, as the guy said in the Gladiator movie, he said, "We will meet again, but not yet, not yet." So I know that, when we go across, Frank will be there, among probably a whole bunch of other family and friends. So anyway, Frank, I love you very much, and I miss you. Here comes a break. Anyway, since I'm falling apart up here, I'm going to go ahead and have him play Butterfly for us, and thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing the farewell and the love for Frank. Thank you very much.
Butterfly, as free as the wind. Butterfly,
on the flower. Butterfly with wings in the air. Butterfly, take me there. Butterfly, you fly. Butterfly, I fly. Butterfly, come fly with me. Butterfly, gliding in the sun. Butterfly, never done. Butterfly, flowing across the sky. Butterfly, take me high. Butterfly is here. Butterfly is there. Butterfly just everywhere. Butterfly, butterfly, oh butterfly, you fly so high across the sky. You know I love you. Butterfly, butterfly, oh butterfly, you fly so high across the sky. You know I love you. Butterfly, butterfly, butterfly.
Hello, lovely people. My name is Zoe Ditmore. I'm the last of Eve's girls, and I am very privileged and honored here to share a few experiences that I have of Frank. Once I don't cry to see Eddie, what did you start? I was lucky enough to have Frank in my life when I was growing up as a teenager and a little bit beyond that. And I'll just share a few memories. There are quite a few memories that I have, but these are the ones that are definitely a little more distinctive. And I am pretty sure, Frank, you will also agree that after having a few piano lessons, piano playing was not going to be in my destiny. No, I get it, Frank, it's okay. But Frank was not going to get away. So, back in the day, as you all may well know, there was no such thing as Spotify or Pandora. But Frank would be on demand. And I would come home having heard the latest song on the radio, and I'd be like, Frank, you have to learn to play this song. And he's like, well, Zoe, I gotta listen to the song first. So I don't know if I had a cassette tape or something I would play for him, but he would basically play back the song by ear. And that was definitely one of, the delights of growing up with Frank, and always, obviously, being exposed, having a musical family in tow. The second memory that I have is the blue Skoda. I don't know if we all remember the light blue Skoda. Hushface was the name. Who? Hushfield was the name of the car. Oh my goodness. Well, unfortunately, Hushfield had a bit of a setback because Frank decided one lovely Sunday that he should teach Zoe how to drive. Well, there was a little hitch in the giddy up. I had a lead foot. I jumped in the car. The stick shift was all right. I could get the stick shift done, but it was the connection to the gas pedal was the issue. And where we were living at the time, I had a line of coconut trees. And I remember it was like a ping pong. Boom, hit the coconut tree, come back, boom, hit that, back, all the way into the street. And how, thank you, nothing was coming at the time. And we just jettisoned out into the street. Frank was just the calmest. He was like, Zoe, he's like, kindly, just press the brake for me. Pull over gently to the windmill across the street and get out. So that was that story. Needless to say, Hushfield had a few dents and needed repair. But even through all of that, sorry guys, Frank was so patient and lovely. Like never a harsh word. It was just like, Zoe's learning to drive. Well, I didn't get back into Hushfield for many years after that. But again, it just speaks to how lovely Frank was. And then the third memory I have, and some of my lovelies are here to grace us, was growing up with my girlfriends. I had a crew, set of girls that I met at Queen's College, and we would have invariably how many girls in the house, just sleepovers. And Frank, again, so amenable. Back in the day, it was Wheels. I think it was the roller skating rink. Like Frank would drop us there, come back for us. Just, again, he'd give you the last shirt off his back. Truly the most kind, wonderful person. So those are sort of like the three things that thread his personality together. And just very blessed and very lucky to have had him in my life. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I'm the eldest of 4 boys in the family. And being the eldest, I would not have been that close to Frank. Eddie would have been, being the last. The memories I have of Frank would be him living with my bride of close to 60 years now, staying with us for 9 months before he emigrated to California. And being a newlywed, you'll forgive me for not having much of a memory of Frank from that stay. But I can tell you that Frank had 2 passions in his life. The first was music, and the second was the Baha'i faith. And in music, Frank decided at the age of 16 to learn to play the piano. Now, I don't know if you know much about a piano, but it's this monstrous musical instrument with 88 keys and weighs, to me, a ton and a half. But starting at 18 is absurd. At 16 is absurd. You learn to play the piano with 88 keys. Think about that. At the age of 6. Frank had determination like you would not believe. He would pound on that keyboard for 12 hours a day, 8 to 12 hours every day. I had to get out of the house most of the time. Anyways, Ed mentioned he studied music at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, where he learned something called the Wesleyan method of piano playing. Mostly people think of piano, that you attack a piano with your arms, hands, and fingers. This method says no, you use the entire body. And if you recall seeing Frank perform, you would see him moving back and forth, getting up off the bench he was on, and it was just a marvelous manner of playing, performing. Speaking of performances, the one that affected me the most was when he performed at the Barbados Police Steel Orchestra. Piano concerto for strings, but he chose to go with what I feel is the quintessential Caribbean format for music, the steel pan. And today, all I hear is soca and reggae, which happens to be my favorite genre, but I hope that the Caribbean will not lose its root in pan. And it is a wonderful piece of music. I unfortunately misplaced the tape I had of it. I was never so proud of him. So if anybody has one of those, please, let's make a copy and I'll take it home. Anyway, my little brother is upstage everybody, and then Zoe comes and tops it off. So I'm just going to cut and run. Thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate you celebrating my brother's life. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. As has been said already, that Frankie was a very genuine person. One thing I could vouch for, I have known Frankie for at least 7 years. As a matter of fact, he was my tenant. And we get along so well. Sometimes he will call me downstairs for us to have conversation. Often. You don't normally find it with landlord and tenants. And what I also found out is that he was very genuine. He will tell you his mind, and the next time you talk, act as if nothing ever happened. I mean, genuinely, sociable and easy to get along with. When he first came by me, he said to me something that is very noteworthy. He says that, it's a Koldrick, are you going to raise the rent here? He said, at least in a couple of years. He said, nah, man, I won't raise the rent on you, man. He said, because you know why? Here's where I decided to make my final stay. He said that to me, yeah, genuinely. And definitely, that's where he died. I found it very prophetic. The other thing I realized about Frank, as was said before, is that he genuinely loved people. Yeah. Everybody knows Frank in my area. He will talk to you as if he met you before. And so for some reason, all the folks in the area, are touched, by his passing. And generally, I really miss Frank, you know. He said to me about 2 months ago, he said, Caldrick, you are like my family. We are family, man. And truly, I miss Frank. And I know a lot of you miss Frank, because he was a genuine person to get along with. And what I would say to the family, my condolences, and it was really a privilege to have known Frank and Eve, you know. As I said, we are like family. And I pray that in this time of some grieving, that you will find solace in the fact that somehow you will see Frank again, by God's grace. And may all go well with you. And be strong. And God bless. Thanks. Yeah.
Good morning. I am Andrew Lynch, the Director of Music of the Band of the Barbados Police Service. And I first met Frank in the early 90s when he would have performed with us. And like his brother said before, Frank was so passionate about his music. And I was very fortunate too that he accompanied me for both of my diplomas in trumpet playing. I remember the first one in 1999. At the time, I was actually preparing for something else during that time, and I wasn't practicing as much as I should have. And I remember at one rehearsal, he scolded me. He was very annoyed because I was not up to the mark that I should have been for a diploma. And it really made me go back and prepared like he said I should, because of his passion. So for that, I'm very grateful that, he accompanied me and I was successful in both my diplomas. His style of playing, like his brother said, at the time as youngsters in the band, used to be kind of funny for us, because of the way he would play. And some notes he would actually hit the piano like that, and when he gets to the end of a phrase, he would actually jump off the seat. So for us in the band, it was kind of funny, but it was always good to perform with him. And he was such a nice guy, Whenever Frank see you, he would be so excited, He would greet you with a hug, and always glad to see you. So it was a privilege knowing Frank over the years. So on behalf of the members of the Barbados Police Service Band, I just want to say condolences to the family. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Derek Cummins. I'm a student of the was a student at Arlene Secondary School. Very first met Frank Fernandes when they went there in 1983. And he's a big part of my love for music. He was energetic, he was passionate about the music. Obviously, 11-year-olds to 12, 16-year-olds, Frank would not have been for everyone's taste at that age group. But I tell you, he was loved by us who loved him. No one played the piano like Frank. I spent quite a bit of time with him in the theory of music, and then in some piano playing also. So not just in the lessons, but at lunchtime he would give his time, at other times to give his time to teach us who were interested in learning the instrument. And yes, as his brother said, he had two passions, music and then his faith. Frank knew my father. Among other things, my father was his mailman. And despite Frank knowing my father and knowing then that I was a PK, because my father was a Pentecostal reverend. Frank would take great joy every opportunity and telling me about high faith and about all that. I could see you smirking that he knew that. I knew you don't want to hear this, but hear this all the time. So he was a man of faith. And every time I ran into Frank, I say, Frank, his wife, Mr. Fernandes. Every time I ran into Mr. Fernandes after school, it was a great, a big embrace. His face would light up and we'll talk, we'll catch it, how you doing, what are you up to? Always so loving, always so caring. I really love him. I consider him the premier, with my limited knowledge, but my knowledge, the premier pianist in Barbados. Loved his stylings, loved the way his fingers flew over that keyboard. I did love the man, and he was, in my mind, a great man. And may God, B'Allah, welcome him into eternal rest.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. Hey, 'cause all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes you have. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your
Alpa, good morning. You ask an explanation of what happens to us after we leave this world. This is a question which none of the prophets have ever answered in detail, for the very simple reason that you cannot convert to a person's mind something entirely different from everything they have ever experienced. Abdu'l-Baha gave the wonderful example of the relation of this life to the next life, being like the child in the womb. It develops eyes, ears, hands, feet, a tongue, and yet it has nothing to see or hear. It cannot walk or grasp things or speak. All these faculties it is developing for this world. If you try to explain to an embryo what this world is like, it could never understand. But it understands when it is born, and its faculties can be used. So we cannot picture our state in the next world. All we know is that our consciousness, our personality endures in some new state, and that world is as much better than this one as this one is better than the dark womb our mother was.
Good morning. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore.
And before our final selection, at this time, we want to thank you all for sharing your love, your joy, your memories, and especially the prayers and upliftment that we felt, and also especially for those who are far, listening in and joining us. And the family appreciates and loves you for this. So we'll now continue with the final selection, and again, thank you.
Aloha, friends. The prayer for the dead is the only Baha'i prayer that is to be recited in congregation. It is to be recited by one believer while all present stand in silence. Baha'u'llah has clarified that this prayer is required only when the deceased is over the age of 15, and its recital must precede interment, and that there is no requirement to face the Qibla during this recitation. You will hear, and you would have heard, Alaupa said by the friends many times when they came to you. It means God is most glorious. And we offer it in return. So at this point, I will offer Alaupa to you, and you also can say Alaupa again. Alaupa. It means God is most glorious. So friends, at this time I will offer the prayer. If you would please stand. O my God, this is thy servant and the son of thy servant who hath believed in thee and in thy signs, and set his face towards thee, wholly detached from all except thee. Thou art verily of those who show mercy, the most merciful. Deal with him, O thou who forgivest the sins of men and concealest their faults, as beseemeth the heaven of thy bounty and the ocean of thy grace. Grant him admission within the precincts of thy transcendent mercy that was before the foundation of earth and heaven. There is no God but thee, the ever-forgiving, the most generous. Alaupa. We all verily worship God. 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 Alaupa. We all verily bow down before God. 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 Allah Pa. We all verily are devoted unto God. 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 Allah Pa. We all verily give praise unto God. 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 Allah Pa. We all verily yield thanks unto God. 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 Allow Pa. We all verily are patient in God. 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 Please be seated.